Hello and welcome. This is Paragon RG. If you are just tuning in, we are analyzing some AoE4 matches. In this particular instance, TheStolenTurnip has been kind enough to let me review one of his matches. We'll be taking a look. And yes, I did just restart this because the beginning of the last attempt was a total disaster. So shout out to those who are watching this mess on Twitch. Here I am now, hopefully with only a single instance of myself now visible on the screen. So, TheStolenTurnip playing as the English, in the south side in the red here, and his opponent in the blue. Sorry, I get mixed up with English, French, blue, red when it's off like this. Dennis Hero 95 playing as the English. So, did I get this confused? French? English. Okay, so TheStolenTurnip says he's been mashing games as the French, and we'll stick to the Fog of War view to get a better idea of what he sees. So scouting around, it's all good. What we are hoping to find is one or two general things Turnip can take out of this and improve on in general. And then maybe one or two things that would have helped in this particular match. This is an interesting approach here. You have wood. Yeah. Also, keep in mind, if you're spamming French, you may not have realized that it costs 25 less. It costs half to produce mining camps, lumber camps, like the eco buildings for French. So you can place that down very, very cheaply. 4 villagers on gold now, and you're almost up with the food that you need. So we'll slow down in just a minute here. It looks like you haven't yet scouted out your opponent. Turnip says he's using Hera's French build order. Hera, my Canadian boy. Interesting. I mean, it was fast. Or did seem fast. Didn't you have the resources you needed a second ago? I thought you had about 400... What's going on here? Wait, I'm going to slow down real quick. Okay, so there is a gap in villager production. Something's happened here. Something has happened. Okay, let's go back to normal speed. You can now afford it. Honestly, I think whatever speed you gained using Hera's build order, I think was lost. When you queue up multiple villagers like this, it's very easy to not realize you can actually afford clicking up. I think that's a potential problem here. So this age up time is going to be 5.5 minutes probably. How many, or 4 villagers? Something like 5.5 minutes. Interesting as well. I mean, first of all, I mean, for the record, it's not the worst thing if you don't age up right away, but I would hope to see something like, you know, imagine you were a little late, but you had a barracks. Like, there's some plan for spearman pressure or something like that. In this case, again, you can afford... I'm gonna drop this so we don't see Dennis's resources. You can afford a lumber camp. A lumber camp would give you a lot of efficiency here. If you look at the amount of seconds this guy's walking, it's something like 10 seconds. And he only spends something like 13 seconds chopping. So you're losing a ton of efficiency here. You've scouted also everything but your opponent, which I find interesting. Now, if they are English, you kind of know what's coming. So, if you do know what's coming, I'm hoping for an early night then. Okay, good stuff. Because otherwise, a royal night, I should say. You did get some scouting in here. So, council hall. I didn't see how many villagers on gold. Barracks as well. So, seems like he's ready. So this looks aggressive. Not that crazy to drop an outpost on here. Something players like really trying to optimize everything. won't do that, but, you know, mid-elo is not the point where you need every little bit of efficiency. Keeping like 2 villagers safe, let's say you save a villager. That's probably actually better in the long run than trying to get some kind of optimization. Royal Knight is still coming out. Archer range is up. And Scout coming out now. What's the plan with these guys? I would like to see them running up. Also, you made an archer range, but only 1 archer. So, something to note is that something I find I do is I look at resources like this. Look how even these are and think, oh man, my resources are balanced. In reality, and I see you're building that house, get villagers on this, man. Just get it, like, finished. Because you're not building villagers while you're waiting for... Like, while you're saving a very small bit of time. You know, because these villagers are allowed to continue chopping. So definitely avoid being house blocked as a highest priority. So, okay. What I want to, just as a... If you think about where you are in this game, you're getting settled, you're like, okay, I'm getting the unit composition I want. I want you to feel excited to be making knights. You have a school of cavalry. You can make royal knights. That is one of the most badass units in the entire game. So, and I'm not worried about small eco misplays. I'm just like, I want to work out a mindset that allows for using, like, getting the most out of your stuff in the future. You have been really active at producing royal knights, so that's actually something I catch higher level players not doing. There's plenty of good stuff going on here. But I want you to be excited about these. Is the plan to move out when you have 4? Or is it just like, I'm waiting till I have a bunch or something like that? You can probably move out when you have 2. Run right out to the middle of the map. Run to their gold. See if you can cause any problems. If you can hang out like here or here, you know, they might be able to shoot you with the TC. But if you're just out of range, you can catch archers coming out of it and cause a ton of problems. Villagers, I believe you've been pretty active on villager production, so that's quite good. My intention here is not to nitpick. It's to find all the problems, and then we'll refine it to like 1 or 2 main things. Because we all have a million, like if you watch me play, you'd see a million things that I'm doing wrong. It's way easier to point them out than it is to do them. So, blacksmith coming down here. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, you want to avoid letting your opponent make the first move, especially when you have a unit like Royal Knights. Keep in mind, French are one of few civs where the English have to be careful. They have to, you know, step lightly. Because longbows just get eaten by Royal Knights. If you think about, let's say I was playing Delhi, you could walk forward with longbows and worry about very little. It would be horsemen, would be the only thing you'd be worried about. And then you try to scout them, and then you'd like, okay, I'll add a barracks and add a few spears, and then you're okay. And then it's all on me to get to the castle age, basically. Not so with the French. You could be applying a ton of pressure with the units you have here. So I'm going to speed up the game a bit. I think that's so far the biggest thing I see is getting active with your units. This scout is also placed well for defense, but not well for figuring out where you could do damage. So if you put that scout here, you could see if there's villagers here, in which case you could maybe jump on them with your Royal Knights or something like that. Pardon me. Royal Knights running out and about. Okay, so he sees your Knights. If he didn't before, he sees your Knights. So I guess the question would be, you know, do you have any need to... I guess you're not really hiding them. You're just using them defensively. Okay, so 5 Royal Knights is 1,200 resources. Try to go for relic play. Right. Okay, we now see the guild hall coming down now. Man, look at this farming economy. I think you should just mill these deer. I don't know if there's a reason to be making farms. One thing I think that's slowing you down, each one of these farms is 75 wood. You'll see, for example, if you're watching top play, most players, like, the only early farms people go for are when they're English. Or when they're screwed. Like, people adding farms is usually a sign that they're losing. Okay, yeah. So that is a ton of spearmen and archers. So, for the record, I don't remember the outcome of this game, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. We're still watching at double time here. So you're at 3rd age. Are you making a monastery? Keep small villagers. Forward. Yeah, you're getting into a nasty spot here. I think these longbows are gonna kind of eat you alive. Especially, oh, that was your knights. Nice, they're now veteran knights. Good stuff. Something to note as well, like, this is one of these games where a minute can mean so much. If your plan is to go for relic play, which I see in chat you've said that is what you usually tend to go to. That's great. No problems for me. Then, where's the monastery? There's a town center now. Unless I've missed it. I don't think so. Got a ram coming in now. So you're going for their spearmen. Something to keep in mind as well is your TC can... Your home TC can manually target. So you could be trying to target these spearmen. It takes a lot of work. Something else that's a big... So, okay, I said where's the monastery for the relic play? So you hit Castle Age, you got some... You clicked Veteran on your knights, but you only had about 5 knights, I think. Maybe you made a couple more. I see more queued up now. Oh man, do they stay queued up? Look at this. Do you not get those resources back? Huh. Interesting. So this is looking like the end here. With the extra TC. Okay, I'm gonna go to super slow-mo for a minute. Just talk a bit about what I've seen overall. So the macro trends in this game. You need a single plan. Now, obviously, that plan, you know, it's not worth being too rigid. You need to be able to adapt. But for example, looking at when this town center went down, I didn't notice the minute number, but I think it was pretty late, right? It wasn't shortly into the Feudal Age. So you hit Feudal, you added 1,200 resources worth of knights. You got a blacksmith, you got archers. The thing is, the knights, the 5 knights plus the handful of archers you made at the time, is probably enough to click to Castle Age. Now, I'm not saying you should do a naked Castle Age, but just to put that in perspective. So those military units, yes, they're being, you know, technically they're keeping you alive, but there was no visible threat. Okay, so you made a bunch of units. We're not aggressive with those units. Also farmed. We'll get to that in a minute. I think that's a bit of a separate issue that I think generally slows you down this game. So then you clicked to Castle Age. Then you added a town center, like around that time. Now you're spamming units, but I think it's too late. Well, it's definitely too late. So, do you see how it sounds like everything? Like everything at the same time? You want one thing. So, what is your, like, pick a thing to give you value in this game. So what is it? Do you make a bunch of Royal Knights and harass, cause problems? That can't be a full plan, but at least it's a plan, right? That could lead into something else. Maybe it means more Royal Knights. Maybe it means you add that town center. Maybe it means you hit the Castle Age and upgrade them, get chivalry, something like that. Yeah, and even the archery, if you think of how expensive an archery range is, that's just more resources eating into your Castle Age. So, if your plan then is, no, I want 2 town centers, then you'd better do that early, because the later you do it, keep in mind that adding a town center, a lot of people, I think, don't know this. It takes about 5 minutes for a town center to pay off. 5 minutes. So, that means, let's say you finished it at 14 minutes. It only really kicked in properly at 19 minutes. And at 18 minutes, you were still fighting at a deficit. Which means that when that battle actually took place, which is probably close, the first one was probably closer to 15 minutes. You were, assuming you did put this up, I have the timing a bit mixed up. You were behind, strictly behind in army, with no economic benefit yet, which means behind in every way. So think about it that way. Okay, so pick a single plan. You know, think, okay, how do I get to Fast Castle? Maybe I like harass a bit, cause problems, get to Fast Castle, go Veteran Royal Knights. Great, that's a plan. Maybe you think Feudal Age, second TC, economic boom, do what I can to survive until then. Okay, great. And then you like, okay, Castle Age and try to kill him. Maybe it's Feudal Age, Knights, Archers, Blacksmith, Ram Push. That's fine, that's a plan. You go for that. Now, also hindering all of this stuff is the farm usage. So, farms are just such a bad investment. And the reason is, as the French. The reason is because they cost so much up front. So, forgetting how fast or slow they are. They're a little slower than gathering sheep, which I think are in turn a little slower from deer. You're paying 75 food each time you want one, which means you need a whole wood economy. Sorry, 75 wood. Which means you need a whole wood economy that is dedicated to literally placing farms. So rather than that going toward, those villagers could go to food or gold to get to Castle Age, or for adding units or something like that. Just enjoy, by the way, while I'm talking, the epic slow-mo battle we have here. The farms cause all of that sort of backlog, not backlog, but they just kind of waterlog the system. They make everything a little bit slower. Nice night charge here. Oh, it's gorgeous. Okay, so I think there's a whole bunch of different things that could be improved here. I think that's basically the macro list. Let's talk. Actually, you've got a message here. Wasn't sure if Palings got buffed. Knights would usually hit the long one before getting stunned. Opponent got the armor upgrade or had too many. Yeah, that could be an issue. I don't think it's the main issue. I would, whatever your concerns are on that front, I wouldn't worry about it. Where was I? Lastly, yeah, you said you got to. Maybe not lastly. You said you got to Castle Age, added a monastery, or you go for relics. So I would hope then, if you're excited for relics, if that's your thing, which again I don't mind, I'm happy to work around that. Then hit Castle Age. I want you to feel excited to place a monastery. It's like, okay, it's time. So Castle Age, and I want your brain to go, yes, relics, monastery. Okay, and then the monastery finishes. and you're waiting for it because you're excited for relics, and you start adding monks or whatever they're called for the French. So I want that like mode, that line of thought to go, and then you want to be more aggressive with your units more generally. So if you have units and they're not doing anything, it's kind of like you took resources and just like threw them out the window. It's not like that in the end, but effectively for a while it is like that because you could have been getting a more advantage across the board otherwise. That's right. Let's talk about things that went well this game. You're actually really good at queuing up knights. I just was hoping to see more action from them. Really good map scouting in general. I was hoping to see more scouting of his actual base, but good scouting there. And I like the position of the scout defensively, if that's your mindset. I would have preferred it, though, like here. Somewhere where you could see longbows potentially coming out if they head out, and you can keep an eye on, villagers. Fresh meat for the killing. My eco that game or the build order after the 5 on feudal build order. Yeah, and obviously there's economic stuff to be ironed out, but I like thinking of the bigger picture. Like think of the you want to think of focus. What's your plan? How do you execute on that plan well? Things will definitely go wrong. They go wrong for everybody. But how can you focus on that plan and then like sort of always come back to that? All right. I will leave it there. Folks, this has been Paragon RG. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you are watching on Twitch, give me a follow on YouTube. Give me a follow and a like. It helps me out quite a bit. Get my videos out there. I release videos every day, so stay tuned for those. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you next time.